Peace, peace, peace. Live up in this mud. Man, we ain't live, man. We doing a video up in this mud. About to bust my tea down. I know it's been a while and all that. I know it's been a minute. See how I'm gonna quarterback this right here. Quarterback this. Peace to the gods and the goddesses, man. About to do a quick little video. Hold on for a second, man. Shout out to the Cash App supporters for sending in those donations. Y'all already know who y'all are. Shout out to the Cash App support. Yeah, I know I got the illest intro up on the tube. Ain't been on the tube. Well, I'm on the tube on the other joint, but yeah, I gotta see what's up with these uploads, man. Cause I had some of them on a timer. Gotta see what's going on with that. But man, y'all already know what it is, man. You know, raising the vibe right now. I'm busting my tea down with my snack. You know what I mean? Checking out these vids, man. Trying to see how I can get more quality. Scheming over here right now, son. Word. But yeah, man. What's going on out there in the Matrix? I see they had the Super Bowl last night. You know, another ritual. Somebody had asked me about sports. I did a video on sports. I broke all that down. You know what I mean? I broke all that down, man. Spoke about what sports is, realistically speaking. Not superficially feeling it. You know what I mean? I broke it up realistically speaking, not superficially feeling it. What sports is. I broke up what the arenas are. I broke up what the field is. Broke up who the players are. All that. Let's see if I can find that video and upload it. If it ain't already uploaded. I don't know if that's already uploaded. Let's see if I can find that one. Upload that one, because pulling the curtain back on that, man, as I do a bunch of these topics, man. Pulling these curtains back, man. I hear YouTube done got dull. Since I stopped dropping them vids, man. Yeah. YouTube done got dull as hell, bro. Since I stopped dropping them videos, man. Yo, bro. Let me find out, man. Yeah, let me find out, bro. YouTube done got dulled in the mud. We done got dulled in the mud, son. Word up, bro. Man, y'all know what it is, man. somebody had asked me about did I speak about this before? I don't even know. Somebody had asked me about about mating and foreplay. Like foreplay and all that. You know, mating. Animals mate. Number one. You know what I mean? Animals mate. But the whole foreplay, foreplay is a seance. Foreplay is a seance that deals with summoning entities. You know what I mean? The type of procedures that's being taken, the mode that's being set, which is what they call the mood, which is all the conversions of energies. And the ones who be exciting the foreplay, you can't even see them. You know what I mean? You can't even see them. But foreplay, that's a segment that has to do with a series of segments that represents summoning entities into the vessel of the baby. You know what I mean? That's what they do. Now, people who do foreplay, they are completely unaware of this. They look at it like it's a part of sex. It's a part of a seance. You know what I mean? It's a ceremony. It's no different than you watching a movie like Eyes Wide Shut, or you watching any one of these movies when they got all these people doing all these arrangements before they have sex. Whether they dressing up in some leather, getting hit with the whip, biting apples, tied up to the bed. You know what I'm saying? They doing all kinds of weird ish. You know what I mean? They doing all kinds of weird ish. Got people that like to get choked, like to get smacked, beat, hit before and while they having sex. Because that all deals with pulling in a certain type of entity. You know what I mean? See, one thing people don't realize, and here's something that I stated before, man. Societies are built on sorcery. Society and sorcery, those two words go hand in hand, like inhale and exhale. You're never going to have a society that's absent of sorcery. That's not going to happen. It's never going to happen, son. You're never going to have a society without sorcery as the foundation of that society. You know what I'm saying? So in American culture society, or even all over the planet, but they in society, they got this, that you do foreplay and it's a part of sex and is what you do to get aroused. You don't need none of that to get aroused. You know what I mean? Realistically speaking. You know what I'm saying? Realistically speaking. You don't need no foreplay to get aroused, and that's done to summon entities. It's a seance that they're performing with, that they're entertaining. They're performing out a seance. Whether they're playing music, they got the lights dim. Matter of fact, you got a seance date coming up. What is it? Valentine's Day. Where these guys present the dead to their so-called loved ones. I know they're gonna be like, what you mean they presenting the dead to the loved ones? They giving them flowers. You only give flowers to the dead. You only give flowers to the dead. It's a seance. You know what I mean? Flowers are given to the dead. They separate the flowers from the life force, which would be the ground. The flower is dying, and you give it to the dead. Flowers was really supposed, I didn't say was, is. It's just all miscommunicated right now. But flowers was given to someone when you want to end a relationship. You know what I mean? It's like a form of a goodbye. That's why people give it in funerals. It's a form of a goodbye. You know what I mean? And you have it where this holiday they got coming up, Valentine's, this fake holiday, but I don't even think it's a holiday. But this day they got coming up, Valentine's Day, where they got the guys who go out there and buy all these flowers, these roses, and then they would take the rose petals and put it all on the bed, and then they would light the candles, have the music playing, and their wife or their girlfriend or whoever they smashing would go in the room like, oh my, it's so romantic, and that's the theme that they set. You know what I'm saying? The romance. I don't even know they don't even understand what that word romance means. But that's the theme that's been programmed in them to see as romantic. Oh, this is a form of foreplay, and it's sexy, and this is what we do. But when you're looking at the rose petals and you putting that on the bed, that's actually body parts. The rose petals is body parts. It came off of the body of the rose. So you take these body parts now and you put it on the mattress, which I broke up in past videos is an altar. You know what I'm saying? It's not even a freaking mattress, like I stated before. It's an altar. It's a cube. You have two cubes, which is the box spring and then the mattress. Now, if you know anything about the double cubes, it serves as like a chevron altar. Chevron represents an altar of sacrifice. You know what I mean? So when you sleeping on a bed, you're sleeping on an altar. But they take the rose petals and they sprinkle it on the bed, which is body parts. And they always want the red rose, which symbolizes the blood. You know what I mean? So now they got the candles lit. And you know that the candles being lit symbolizes the underworld. It represents that moon. You know what I mean? The candle, Can, El from the Canaanites. The pillar, the Masonic pillars, the candlestick. So they got all the candles lit in the room, which is setting the tone or the vibration for these spirits. You know what I'm saying? You're performing in a satanic cult theme to pull demons in. That's what your foreplay is. I don't know, people are going to hear this and they're going to be like, man, what the hell is this guy talking about? Take a look at your babies. Take a look at your babies that's coming out the womb. See, these people, they really need to know that. See, they got so many freaking programs floating around the matrix that in order for you to fully understand, you have to get rid of all of those programs. Because they fed us the program that we came from our mothers, which is a lie. They stated that we have a beginning when we're born. When we come out the womb, that's when our life just started. You know, it's like when we first come into existence. And if you buy into that program, when I say that when you having these foreplays, you're participating in Satanism, which is pulling in demons, you will look at like, man, what the hell is this guy talking about, man? See, if you understood what life was, if you know that you are energy that's fused to vessels. You did not come from your mother. You came through your mother. You don't even understand how many mothers you had. You had millions of mothers and millions of fathers before you got here. Millions of mothers. You do not only get one mother. You get millions of mothers and millions of fathers. Every time you come back through, when you die, you come out the body. And then when you about to be born, like when you fuse to the body, that's why I stated before, you got to understand what death and being in birth is. Death means that you, the energy, separates from the physical body. That's what death is. Death is not you going into some cemetery and the casket dipping in the ground. That ain't death. That is the illusion of death. That is the ritual practice that they practice out here in the matrix to make you assume that is your final resting place. Think about what they say. That's your final resting place. How could you be resting if you're dead? Resting is an action. You have to be alive to be resting. If you're dead, there's no need to rest. You out of here. There is no more. You know what I'm saying? But they talking about the final resting place, and they got majority of the people on the planet thinking that the cemetery is where dead people go. Hell no. Dead people go to the lunar dimension. They are alive and well. Well, maybe not well. You know what I'm saying? But they are alive. Death is not dead. Death is alive. Death is alive, son. And you would notice if you came out of your body and went to the lunar dimension. You would know this. You would know that there's spirits walking around here all the damn time. You just can't see them because they exist in a certain light codes that your eyes can't normally pick up. It can only pick it up if you change the frequency of your brain. You have to change the vibration, and you do that with the pineal gland. The pineal gland is like a dial on a radio that when it vibrates on certain tones, it's like you turn in the knob on a radio station to pick up different channels. What your pineal gland is like. It's like a knob on a radio dial. So when it's vibrating, it's like it's turning into different frequencies, pulling in certain vibrations, which allows you to see what's already there. You know what I mean? So death is when you separate from the body. Now, when you're being born, they told us being born is when you come through the womb, the baby. No, that's not being born. Being born is when you fuse to the baby's vessel. That's when you're born. That's when you're born. You are born from the moment you fuse to the baby's body. That's when you're born. You're not born when you come out the womb. You know what I mean? I even spoke about this when they was talking about miscarriages. Like, what's a miscarriage? The miscarriage means that the spirit or the soul was unable to fuse to the vessel. So it missed the carriage. The carriage, the vessel is the carriage. The vessel is the carrier. The vessel carry the soul or the spirit. It carries it. You fuse with it. So when they have a miscarriage, it means that the soul or the spirit didn't have the energy requirement, the energy requirements to bond to the energy, to the physical body and remain in that energy field. You know what I mean? It's like they go in, but they don't have the energy requirements, and then it's only a matter of time before they get pulled out of the body. Or they just slip right through the body. Then the baby body just come out the womb, and then the baby died in the womb, and the mother had a miscarriage. And notice that those who have miscarriages, energies are extremely unbalanced. Extremely unbalanced. You would never hear of a healthy woman having a miscarriage. You know what I mean? Those who have miscarriages, their energies are extremely imbalanced. Most of the time, they got toxic diets. They smoke, drink. They listen to devil notes. You know what I mean? So, they got the rose petals on the bed, the body parts. You know what I mean? And they playing those notes. As I stated before, there is no what they call R&B music. As far as they trying to call it soul music, it's no longer soul music once it's running through the channel of the beast. In other words, if you signed to the beast, if you was a soul artist, and you sign with any one of these record companies out here that's being ran by the humans, you're not producing soul music. Your soul energy is going through a moon and it's being diluted. That's why you hear these people and these record companies tell them, don't write about that, write about this. That's the filtration taking process. That's like an eclipse, the damn moon blocking out the sunlight. Now you get limited light. You don't get the full beam of the sun because there's an obstruction now preventing the full-on rays of the sun from hitting the planet. You know what I mean? In other words, they don't want you to speak with the soul voice. They want to put a moon in front of your soul voice and have you talk like a spirit. Now, we don't want you to be talking about what's really going on out here in the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? we see that you're a lyrical rapper and you know how to put it together real well. Don't talk about this is the Matrix and the spirit world and humans as animals and demons and all. Don't talk about use that same flow and that same style that you got. Use that to talk about weighing keys, popping bottles, and busting guns. And gang, bang, gang. It's all gang, gang. Use that to talk about that. That's the obstruction. You know what I'm saying? Selling drugs, being in gangs. That's all part of Satanism, man. Y'all think Satanism only exists in the devil's church? Or the church of Lucifer? Hell no. As I stated before, man, there is no society that is not built on sorcery. And the sorcery that's building these societies out here is all Satanism. These people claim that they hate the devil. Speaking of language when I say the devil. These people on the planet, they up in the church. They swear they hate the devil. But if you look at their lifestyles, you will see that it is more in synchronicity with the devil than the so-called Most High. Look how they move. All of the friends they got, cheaters and liars and thieves. You got girls sleeping with their best friend's man. Man sleeping with their best friend's woman. You know what I mean? Lying to each other. Does that sound like somebody who exercises the ways of the Most High? Or does that sound like a demon, a devil? The demon want to do things in the dark and hope nobody knows. In other words, they want to block the sun, move around in the nooks and the crannies and the alleyways. Nobody see it. As soon as somebody see it, they never address the matter at hand. What do? They reach for something else. Start yelling and screaming, talking about something that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on. Because they need to deflect. That's what the moon is about. The moon is about deflecting. You know what I mean? It's about deflecting. So now when you have all the rose petals and all that on the bed, the candies is laced with high fructose corn syrup, all kind of chemicals in the candy. You sitting up there, have the fake R&B music, which is nothing but fornication notes. It gets you to fornicate. You know what I mean? And you got the candles in there because you done set the mode. You set the tune. So you're performing in a seance. And when you having when you are mating with your mate, you pulling in demons from the spirit world. You pulling in demons from the spirit world. You're not pulling in those soul babies from the etheric realms. You pulling them right here from the planet. These spirits, you're not pulling them from no higher dimension. You're pulling them from right here. You know what I mean? You're pulling them back in time. I mean, even though the spirit world is time, but it's time that deals on a it deals on a different rotation. You know what I mean? Like over here, they got the clock. That's like seconds, minutes, hours. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got people on the planet that don't deal with the seconds, the minutes, and the hours. They deal with the days, the months, and the years. They clock days, months, and years like the general population clocks seconds, minutes, and hours. Because that's all part of the makeup of time. Now, I mean, it isn't just seconds, minutes, and hours. It goes on to the days, the months, the years. Then you start going into the centuries. And when you start going up on a higher time. Now when you're dealing with the centuries and light years and all that. You're dealing with the higher time. You know what I'm saying? But the spirit world, that's like the minus realm. It deals with time on a minus, micro, nano speed. You know what I mean? And that's another thing I was going to talk about with movement and all that. Because you could look at, like, you look at people walking, and you be like, yo, they moving slow. Like, you could film a bunch of people walking, and then you could speed up that video, and you would see that they once looked like they was walking, but now it looked like they running. They moving fast now. It's like when you looking at sequences like that, you're looking at different variations of perception. You know what I mean? Certain variations of perception, whether they walking, jogging, or running. You know what I mean? Look at some time lapse on YouTube, and you see how objects move. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with time, it's like when you begin to start realizing what time is, you realize that the people who are moving slow, they compared to those who's running, and you be like the person who's walking, they moving slow, and the one who's running, they moving fast. And then you got the one who like in a damn bullet train going 300 miles an hour. You like, damn, they fast as hell. But when you go beyond time, son, none of them are moving, son. None of them is really it's like burnt in images. It's like an image or energy that's burnt in. And as you add perception, it appears that they're moving, but what you're looking at is like pre-recorded energy, son. You're looking at energy that has been pre-recorded to carry out a type of vibration. So it's somewhat like you're looking at a loop. And the reason why I say is like they not moving at all is because you have to actually be going somewhere to really be moving. I ain't talking about if you moving in a clock that's based in a rotation, you're not going anywhere. You're not moving at all. All you are witnessing is energy carry out the course on how it's been programmed to behave. That's it. You're looking at pre-recorded data. That's what time is. Time is pre-recorded data, pre-recorded energy that has been pre-coded to behave a certain way. You know what I mean? So you looking at the time and all the time I spoke about, time and all that, you realize that none of them are really moving. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. They got this COVID thing going on out here, son. And they had this thing floating around online talking about I think they said like 100 years ago they had something. What they said it called? I think they said it called a swine flu or chicken flu, some flu, some disease that they said they had out 100 years ago, and it did the exact same thing that it's doing now. I think they said it happened in 1920. It was like 100 years ago. 1920, 1919, 1921, whatever it happened, man. You know what I'm saying? So it happened in 1920, and here we are. Well, we in 2021 right now, but 2020 was when it hit. So they like, this is something that happens every 100 years. So when I'm looking at that, I'm saying to myself, this happened in 1920, and now it's happened in 2020. I'm like, hold up for a second. So I'm like, this didn't happen in 1920. I'm like, who's to say that when that took place in 1920, that was actually 1920? You see what I'm saying? Who's to say that was actually 1920? Because they give you these numbers to make it seem like time is going somewhere. If you was to eliminate the 1920 and the 2020 from the 1920, when they said that there was some bird flu or some swine flu or whatever disease they said they had back then in the 1900s that shut the economy down, they went into a pandemic and the economy was crashing and all that. They said it lasts for like a year and a half or 2 years, something like that. They said whatever happened, whatever they said happened back in 1920, and then they say it's happening now in 2020, that was not 1920, and this is not 2020, or as of right now 2021. That's the illusion. That if you take away the 1920 and the 2021, you will see that it's all a loop. Take the numbers away and you will see you're in a loop. The hell with the time frame in regards to the 1900s. Eliminate that and eliminate the 20th century. You will see that you're in a loop. You're in pre-recorded data. Time is pre-recorded energy. When you record energy or when you record data in energy, you are telling the energy to carry out instructions. And the energy carries out the instructions based upon the code. When you seeing what they told you happened in 1920 and what's happening now, that's all part of the code. It's all part of the program. You assume that's what's taking place is real. It's not real. You know, all simulations is pre-recorded. It's a pre-record is a program. There is no simulations out here that is not pre-recorded. It's like, look at it like a video game. A video game is a simulation. You got these devs up in there making video games. Look at it like a basketball game. They up in the office with all these computers, and they programming these characters how to move, how to dribble the ball, how to jump, how to shoot, how to block. They programming the people in the stands, the lights, the score box, the basketball, the rim, the backboard, the net. Everything the way how you see everything move in that video game was pre-recorded data. Meaning that the way how they behave is all pre-programmed. When you're looking at a video game, you're looking at energy. You're looking at electricity mimic people, mimic shapes, whether that be a seat, the basketball court, the backboard, or they mimicking people, which would be the basketball players, the referees, the announcers, and all that, cheerleaders, all that. You're looking at energy that has been pre-recorded, pre-programmed to run the simulation. You know what I'm saying? You running the simulation. You're playing, when you're playing the game, you're running the simulation. That's the same thing that's happening on this planet on a bigger scale, though. The weathers, the seasons, all that pre-recorded energy. It's energy that has been pre-recorded. I already told y'all what blocking out the sun is, man. Changing the codes or reprogramming the codes of the sun. To reprogram the codes. Blocking. You know what I mean? Hell yeah. The only ones who's gonna get this are the ones who are real. Clones will never get this. They're not supposed to get it. They're supposed to simulate pre-recorded energy. You know what I mean? The simulation is not new. It was programmed without you actually witnessing it. You didn't see how they programmed. They just had the Super Bowl. I'm going to touch on this briefly because I spoke about this before. There's no such thing as a basketball court, a football field. It don't matter what sports it is. Whatever they tell you the playing field is, you know, the court, that's not what it is. When you're looking at a football field, you're looking at a Ouija board. You got to understand there's different degrees of sorcery. You know what I mean? When you're looking at a football field, you're looking at a Ouija board. When you're looking at football players, you're looking at the cast members. They don't run plays. They draw sigils in the Ouija board. If you ever look at the playbook that the coach is holding in his hand with all the X and the O's and the lines, those are sigils. Those are sigils that the players are drawing in the Ouija board known as the football field. It's no different than when you look at people in Africa. When they used to perform their ritual ceremonies, they one of them they call was a rain dance. Now to a baby, it'll look like they're just moving around, stomping their feet on the ground. But they are invoking chants with the tones that they speak out. And if you pay attention, you see that they move in a sigil pattern. They drawing sigils in the floor. Same thing what Michael Jackson used to do. That's why his dance videos was like 15 minutes. His music videos was like 15 minutes. And he did a lot of dancing. But if you pay attention, you see that he wasn't dancing at all. The dancing would be the surface description. You know what I mean? People that get mesmerized by how he moved. But somebody who knows that, they would know that Michael Jackson was drawing sigils. He turned his body into a pen and he was drawing sigils in the floor. He was doing magic right in your face. You know what I mean? And that's what they do with the Super Bowl. All sports. It's rigged in the sense that it's not real. Not real in the sense that it's a simulation. The people who own these teams, they are witches and wizards. They perform in spells. You're not watching a football game You are watching a planetary seance. They get people from all over the planet to participate in the ritual. You're watching a seance. Your Super Bowl. But the clones, they would never get it. The majority of the humans on the planet, they would never get it. You know what I mean? All they want is their bed, their big screen, and popcorn. And whatever team that they repping. Throw that jersey on and they, in the living room, yelling and screaming. Talking about the ref this, the ref that, players this, players that. They don't understand that they are being used as a fuel source because they are giving up energy. That's being channeled through the television. Don't think that the television emits energy one way. It utilizes electricity, which is a bipolar energy. It could absorb and it can reflect. When you're looking at the images, that's when it's reflecting. Like the moon, it reflects light. You know what I mean? But when you throw emotions out, like the football players, the football fans, basketball fans, whatever fans, when you throwing that emotions out, it's being absorbed. It's being absorbed. You know what I mean? They're always going to have a sigil. They're always going to show you some kind of sigil or some kind of seal whenever these rituals are being practiced or taking place, because that sigil or that seal is the absorber. It's like the energy catcher. It catches the energy and it transfers it to them. When you go beyond the physical, you will see all this taking place. You will see it. It will make sense. It will make sense. You know what I mean? The last thing, the ones who is, like running this planet, the last thing they want is the carbonated beings to realize the real. Never mind with realizing that they gods and none of that. Black people, that's all. We beyond all that. To realize it was never about the pineal gland. You know what I mean? It was never about the pineal gland. It was always about you, the soul realizing. Once it click, there is no unclicking, son. There is no unclicking, son. It was always about you, the soul. You coming up out of the body for real. You know what I mean? You seeing what's going on for real. You activating higher senses for real. You know what I mean? You seeing it. Once you see it, I'm talking about seeing, comprehending, knowing, not so much capturing images. But you got a bunch of people that see a whole bunch of things and they still scratching their head. What is that? You know what I mean? I'm talking about seeing. I'm talking about knowing. Once you see, you know what I'm saying? It is nothing they could tell you. Now you look and you see how everybody moving and you like, okay, it makes sense why you move like that. I see. And I could look and I could see the people who lends you their ears, and what I see, results. Why do they gather those results? Because the people who lend them their ears, they blind. The one who's speaking in that manner to keep them in an emotional field, they know they blind. Somebody like me come around and start saying things, this guy's a hater. Get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? Because he don't want that energy in there. Because that's all it takes. That's all it takes. You gotta know when somebody would shut down what I say, that's them attempting to keep that energy at bay. They don't want that energy to come in, because they know once that energy just comes in and somebody actually think about it and it begin to start triggering, you know what I'm saying, the damn DNA that they rock into sleep, you start coming online, then you too will start seeing what was already there. It's not seeing what I'm seeing. You see what was already there. Then you start seeing that they frauds. You know they frauds. Punani and checks. You know what I mean? You know what it is, B. You will know what it is. You know what I mean? It'll make sense now. Now when you look at the whole world, it's like you're looking at it with new eyes. Or should I say, you're seeing it for the first time now. You know, you took off the lunar vision, and now you're rocking the solar visions, huh? You took off the lunar vision, son. Now you rocking the solar vision. You no longer watching it. You no longer watching things of this world with beast vision. You know what I mean? You ain't using the beast vision no more, son. You're using that etheric vision, son. That etheric eye. You see what it is. You see you start realizing that a lot of these so-called black people out here with a lot of these ancient tattoos, like the eyes of Ra, and when they got all these tattoos that so-called represent a time in ancient Egypt history, you would realize who and what they really are. A lot of them are frauds. A lot of them are frauds, man. You know what I mean? A lot of them is frauds. A lot of them, they do that to attract those who actually are about that light. You know what I mean? Because one thing you would really realize, I'm not talking about like when you first start coming online. I'm talking about once it click. You realize that what you know is somewhat like a superpower. It's like an identity of Superman and Clark Kent. You know what I mean? You can't expose it to everybody because you understand that it's not meant for everybody. So for you to be walking around with all these tattoos, you're pretending. You're pretending. You don't know where you are. You're pretending. You know what I mean? You're pretending. You're using that as bait. You know what I mean? In other words, there's a bunch of people like that out there. They are out there to catch those who almost made it. They did to catch those who almost made it. You know, the ones who was on the path to transcend, not die. Because when you die and you go to the spirit world, you about to reincarnate this mother, son. You know what I mean? If you get older and your senses start getting meek, like you start forgetting things, like you start losing like mental clarity, like you ain't got like concentration, like if all your senses just start slowly diminishing, that is a sign that you are going to the lunar dimension when you die, and you're going to come back here in a baby because you're being prepared to be in that dumbed down state. You know what I'm saying? But as you get older, if your senses heighten, you know what I'm saying? Like you start, like it's like every year that goes by, your senses just get stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's like 10 years ago by, and you just start, and then you would think back on how you was 10 years ago, and you're like, damn son, like my senses just it just got, it's like from where it was to where it is now, it's just like on a whole nother level. That's how you know that you are on your way out of here. You gonna transcend. As I stated before, clones, spirits, they about survival. They surviving. They looking for ways to survive. We souls, we transcend. You know what I'm saying? So as you get so-called older, your senses become heightened. You changing your life. You constantly upgrading your DNA. You constantly upgrading. You getting rid of the old. Why? Because you about to transcend into the new. And the body that you're going to, it's not even going to be in this realm. You're not even going to be in earth no more. The body that you get is going to be enhanced. It's going to be on par with what you're saying now. How your senses are when you leave the body, how high it is going to be high like that when you get in the baby body. In the next realm. But those out here, y'all already heard the realizations of so-called African babies. We was falsely identified as Africans. You know what I'm saying? But so-called African babies already knowing how to walk and talk when they come out the womb. They already knew things by the age of 3 years old. They was just knocking math, all this other stuff. They was knocking it out the park. Why do you think they was able to do that, man? How do you think they was able to do that? You know what I mean? Straight up. Because when they died, their senses was heightened online. But when you see these old people out here, son, their senses is like a baby. They in a wheelchair because they about to go to the carriage. The old people are in a freaking wheelchair because when they die, they're going to be in the baby carriage. So you see the cycle continues. The way how you leave this planet is how you going to be in the next life. Ain't that what our so-called ancestors said? They say the way how you live and the way how you leave this dimension is who and how you're going to be in the next life. So if you leave in this realm in a wheelchair and your senses, you can't even remember your own daughter, your own kids, you ain't all messed up because you've been eating all that crap. Your brain, you got Alzheimer's disease, you got all kinds of stuff going on inside of you, son. You don't know nothing. You know what I mean? You about 2 heartbeats away from being a vegetable. And then when you die, what's gonna happen? You're gonna go in that baby body and you're gonna be a dun-dun-dun, son. You know what I mean? Straight up. See, we got to transcend. Y'all heard about the realities of some of what they would call ancestors, which ain't really ancestors. I already spoke about that, but I'm gonna speak the language. When they talked about some of our ancestors who transcended, you know what I'm saying? They like some of our ancestors transcended, like they left up out of here. They left up out of here, son. Not meaning that they died and they went to the spirit world. No, they left the spirit realm. This whole universe, they left it. They went to the etheric realms. They transcended. They raised the vibe. They realized what it was. Those who transcended realized what it was, and they left the map. What's the map? Not to be a human. That's all you gotta do. That's the map. Don't be a human, son. If you want to come back here, be a human. You know what I mean? If you want to come back here, be a human. If you want to transcend, be beyond. Straight up. They want to keep you simulating pre-recorded data. They want you to keep simulating religion. They want you to keep simulating that you're a black man or a black woman. They want you to keep simulating Valentine's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. You know what I mean? Which is all a lie. It's nothing but pre-coded energy. I mean, we should know this. We should know this. Last year there was a Valentine's Day. The year before that it was one, and 20 years before that it was one. You can't see that you're in a loop. Eliminate the numbers and the name of the months. I mean, the numbers and the name of the months make it more easier for you to see that you're in a loop. But eliminate that, and you will see that you're in a loop. You're in a loop of energy. Energy that's constantly feeding off itself. The positive and the negative polarity. It feeds off itself. Like I stated before, when you're looking at the Ouroboros symbol, that's also a symbol that represents the positive and negative polarity. Or the positive and negative polarity is also a symbol that represents the Ouroboros. The energy that feeds off itself. Look at nature. Every animal or creature that exists in nature is a food source for another animal or another creature or another insect in nature. All of them, son. A lion eating a zebra. Birds eating moths. Moths eating ants. You know what I'm saying? Ants eating grasshoppers. Grasshoppers eating beetles. Beetles being eaten by caterpillars. Yo, what the freak? You know what I'm saying? Every freaking creature in nature eats off itself, son. Ouroboros, man. You're caught in the cycle, man. You don't see that you're in the cycle. Once they got you in the cycle, you now keep looping. You keep on looping. You got to come out of the cycle. You got to go beyond. Go beyond the positives and the negatives. Go beyond the like and the dislike. Go beyond the love and the hate. Go beyond the black and the white. Go beyond God and the devil. You know what I'm saying? Go beyond. Because God and the devil is another encrypted positive and negative polarity. Another Ouroboros, energy that feeds off itself. You have people that's in the church only because they fear the devil. So isn't the church feeding off the devil? Isn't that energy feeding off itself? Because these two polarities exist, it will people in the church, making them feel, if I pray to Jesus Christ, I will be forgiven for my sins because the devil makes me sin. That's energy feeding off itself. You're caught in the loop of the energy feeding off itself. All these religions, man. You know, which is all sorcery. All sorcery, as I've stated before, man. All societies is built on sorcery, son. There is not one society that exists out here that is not built on sorcery, son. And that's a fact. That's not even debatable, son. It's debatable. You point me out as a society, I'll show you sorcery all in it. It don't matter what it is. It could be the damn monks. You know what I'm saying? It could be the monks, the one who claims to be holy all up in the mountains like billy goats. I will show you sorcery all in their society, son. All in it. You know what I mean? The nuns in the church who claims to be pure virgins with their black and white Masonic Eastern Star attire. You know what I mean? I will show you sorcery all in it. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, you know, quick little video, man. It's starting to get long, man. Shut this down, man. But yo, man, foreplay, man, it's satanic seance, man. Now, normally when you say satanic or Satanism or the devil and all that, people automatically think, oh, that's all evil. That's your perception. You know what I mean? It's energy that has been programmed to behave a certain way. You know what I mean? Evil energy is coded to interact with good energy. Good energy is encoded to interact with evil energy. Speaking the language when I say evil and good. You know what I'm saying? Because if you eliminate the evil and you eliminate the good, you see it's just energy feeding off itself. Energy into acting, action, reaction. That's it. You know what I'm saying? When you go beyond, it makes sense. It makes sense. All of the confusion, all of the fear, all of the doubt, all of the, oh my God, is this going to happen to me? All that goes out the window, son. Why? Because you're not a believer. You know what I'm saying? All believers are strings being pulled by the puppet master, son. Every single believer is a string. Everybody who believes is under some form of hypnosis. You know what I mean? Witchcraft is legalized. It's heavily legalized out here, son. Yo, witchcraft is legalized on the planet. You know, they don't want you to be aware that is being exercised on you. You know what I mean? But witchcraft is heavily legalized on the planet. Some witchcraft is illegal, and you have to get a license to perform it, like abortions. Abortions is witchcraft. That's illegal if you don't have a license. But if you have a license now, you can perform this sacrifice ceremony. You know what I'm saying? So witchcraft is legalized on the planet, son. You know what I mean? You got to know where you at. Once you know where you at, it makes sense. There is no more scratching the head till dandruff flakes out of it, son. There is no more saying, why in the hell would somebody do something like that? You would look at them and say, I know exactly why they moving like that. I know exactly why this is here. You know what I'm saying? If you're having trouble identifying why would somebody do that, look at the results. Look at the results, man. You know, like how they say, when I think it was when T.I. got caught. No, it wasn't when he got caught. I think he had a song, something when he was saying follow the paper trail, something that he said. I think it is when he got locked up or something, and they said he snitched. Something they were saying about T.I., man. And he was like, you know, something, he was like, follow the paper trail, man. Follow the paper trail. You know what I'm saying? Look at the results. Don't look at the results emotionally and say that's bizarre. No, that's accurate. That's the results they were striving for. That's why that exists. So you got to understand, you got to come out the polarities. You got to come out of judging things based off good and evil. You know what I'm saying? The only judgment should be the results. That's it. There should be no good judgment. Get rid of the good judgment and the bad judgment. That causes perception, confusion. Perception is limited. That's why I say we got to go beyond perception. The hell with perception. Look at the results. When you see the results, and if the whatever it is still standing, that's why it's there, to produce those exact results. Follow the paper trail. Follow the result trail, man. But yo, man, I'm about to get up out here, man. I already know what it is, man. It's a long ass video, man. Yo, foreplay is fugazi, man. We the gods. You know what I'm saying? Gods isn't all that speaking the language, son. We don't need no foreplay, son. We don't need no Valentine's Day. We don't need none of that, son. You sit up here foreplaying for 40 minutes. Man, what is this? Man, the hell out of here. I just wasted 40 minutes. You know what I mean? You know, no foreplay, cuz. Creatures, man. That's like you looking at these animals out here in the wild, son. Pigeons. You ever seen a motherfucking pigeon before you about to get some pigeon buns? You can stick his chest out all big and hard and he start walking around, doing his pigeon walk, dipping his head down, You know what I'm saying? Trying to get it. That's foreplay, son. That's a ceremony, son. Look at it. You know what I'm saying? Look what the dogs do. Look what the horses do. Look what these creatures do, man. That is a creature personality, man. They summoning up. You don't think when a horse about to, you know what I'm saying, about to do their thing, they do their little foreplay, however they do it. They about to summon a horse spirit. You know what I mean? He about to pull in a spirit to be in that horse body. Straight up, B. You know what I mean? But yo, man, about to get up out of here, man. I already know what it is, man. Raise the vibe, raise the vibe, raise the vibe, raise the vibe.